Today on the Check-In, part 1 of 2 on Common Sense Media's new report regarding AI for teens and tweens. Today is Kids Leaning on AI for Schoolwork. All right, this is early June Common Sense Media, really important new report that has come out. The official title is the Common Sense Media Census, AI Use by Teens and Tweens 2026. We're breaking this into 2 sections this week because this is a really important study with a lot of really interesting insights about school use and home use with teens and AI, and also the incredibly rapid adoption. Those of us who are working on developing AI literacy and helping students and adults navigate risks associated with AI feels like a pretty important report. Okay, part 1. A substantial majority of children are incorporating artificial intelligence into their education, with older teens demonstrating the highest frequency of daily use. 85% of kids who utilize AI use it for homework and schoolwork, including 30% of 16 to 17-year-olds who use it on a daily basis. You basically have about half of kids using it on a weekly basis, 30% or more of older students in high school using it on a daily basis. Students are accessing these platforms regularly, often utilizing personal smartphones, computers, or tablets as their primary gateway. School-issued devices also serve as a prominent point of entry, meaning the technology is present throughout the academic day. This routine integration is changing how students approach their assignments at home and in the classroom. Takeaway 2, students who encounter greater academic difficulty, particularly regarding focus and persistence, report a higher frequency of AI assistance for school assignments. More than half of students who have a hard time staying focused on schoolwork use AI for their assignments. This pattern extends beyond attention difficulties for specific subject areas like writing essays and learning mathematical concepts. There's an observable gap between students who find these tasks challenging and those who don't, with struggling students turning to automated tools way more often. This creates an environment where the youth who need to build foundational skills are the ones who are relying most heavily on the technology to complete their work. We don't fully have all the granular details. They might be using it as a tutor to support them because they don't know the answer to a question or how to solve it, or they might be using it as a shortcut. It's that classic, is it a clerk, is it a colleague, is it a coach? Takeaway 3, academic guidelines and policy disclosures from educational institutions are far more common than instruction regarding AI safety or verification methods. So we've got policy established, that's great, but we don't have a lot of instruction or a lot of adult and student conversation around these tools. While nearly 3/4 of students have received instruction on what is permitted for schoolwork, so that's policy, only about half have been taught to evaluate if the information is accurate. So schools are prioritizing plagiarism prevention and acceptable use boundaries over deeper digital literacy. This leaves students with rules about when to log on, but very little guidance on how to question the output they receive. Without training or data verification, students are left vulnerable to errors and misinformation in the tools they are learning. So a lot to unpack here. One of the things that's noticeable about this report is the speed of adoption. Common Sense Media makes it clear because they've been tracking all sorts of technology used from the internet to social media to apps to mobile technology. The speed of adoption is quite fast. So while the guardrails are getting laid down, it's not that helpful because students aren't being engaged in productive conversations about how to navigate it. The report makes it clear that they're very often just like going on to Google and in doing so engaging in AI, but they don't know that that's essentially fancy predictive pattern matching. They don't know that the information isn't accurate. They don't know to use double check in Gemini. They don't know to use Notebook LM. They're not allowed to use deep research. So there's a whole fluency literacy piece of this picture that is missing and critical. And that's a big theme for both these takeaways. You've got a lot of speed, a lot of change, but not a lot of adult conversations at school or home about effectively using. So that's where we are. We'll pick this up on Thursday. You can check out the check-ins each Tuesday and Thursday, and be sure to listen to The Big Show with Dr. Elizabeth Rade and myself each and every Friday.